Functional neurology is looking at the brain. So the brain, your brain stem and your spinal cord is your central nervous system. And your brain controls every part of your body, your brain and spinal cord. So functional neurology is actually looking at the brain itself. And if there are imbalances in the brain, which we find through testing certain exercises and reflexes, then we can work on, sometimes there are retained reflexes, sometimes there are reflexes that haven't started up yet that should at certain ages. And so what that does is it creates an imbalance and a lag in the brain. And so by working on either stimulating the reflexes to start or taking them away and then certain brain balancing exercises, you can get the brain balance, which then is better able to adapt to external stimuli. So, for example, many babies now, how do you balance a brain? So nowadays, a lot of babies are not crawling and they're going straight from lying down, sitting up, and then walking. And they're missing the crawling step. And the crawling step is super important because that actually does balance both sides of the brain. So many times there are reflexes that haven't started that control the sideways movements that help babies start to crawl. And so if those, and we actually have a baby right now who has a retained reflex of being on their toes and does not have the reflex to bring the body side to side. And so what's happening is this baby is most likely going to skip crawling and go straight to walking. And we're really trying. We started stimulating that reflex that brings her side to side, but because she's so close to walking, she may not crawl. She might just go straight to walking. So if the baby would have come sooner, we could have actually started these reflexes and most likely the baby would have crawled. Yeah, that's extremely scary. Most of the time, not all of the time, but most of the time, children that experience ADHD, lack of coordination, were babies that didn't crawl. And so if you think about it, crawling is using both sides of the body at the same time. So you go left arm, right leg, right arm, left leg. And so when you cross the brain hemisphere, and it's called the corpus callosum that connects the right side to the left side of the brain controls the left side of the body, left side of the brain controls the right side of the body. And so you want to make sure that both sides of the body are connected. So many times also there's so much tension in the body that the body can't relax into a crawling position. And so we hear all the time, my baby's rolling over so early, or she's able to push herself into these different positions and they skip crawling. And it's actually showing that there's a lot of tension in the body and not relaxation, where babies shouldn't be rolling over extremely early before, the time is right. My kid is advanced, yet you really need to hit every milestone because that's the way the body develops and the way the brain actually develops fully. So what you can do if your kid didn't crawl is you can have them crawl now. And you could get a tube and have them crawl through the tube. You should make sure they're climbing ladders, swimming, right? Anything that's using both sides of the body at the same time. Rock climbing. Make up some games and make them crawl around on the ground. More stressful is that the Academy of Pediatrics took it off the reflex chart and the milestone chart because babies have stopped crawling because everybody's putting babies on their backs because the back's to sleep movement. So instead of trying to make babies crawl, we just take it away and say it's not important anymore. And it's so important.